Laneige just came out with their new Perfect Renew line, and this is their Perfect Renew X3 edition. And this just came out in early January, and I was so gutted because I just bought so much Laneige products from their previous line, and I didn't know that this line was coming out. And I've used these products for 3 weeks so far, and I'm going to tell you how it went. So just to give a bit of background about the product, this product line mainly aims at targeting early signs of aging, and especially in this case where it's about accelerated aging, where after your 20s and especially after around the age of 35, the aging of your skin happens even more rapidly than in your 20s. So your 20s would decline a little bit, but then after 35 it would decline even more. So they want to target those signs of aging, and the signs of aging that they target are lack of firmness, appearance of fine lines, and dullness. So they have their own in-house study saying that they saw minus 48% of wrinkles, plus 58% of firmness, and plus 66% of radiance. And in their signature serum, which is this one right here, it's a very pretty serum, and I just love how the packaging is. It's very, very pretty. They have 3 serums in here, and if I open this up here, you can see that over across the center of it, you have these 3 different colors. So you got this white one, the gold one, and then the red one. And each of these have different functions in their capability to reduce signs of aging. So the gold one is an anti-wrinkle serum, and it's got retinol in there, and retinol is renowned for reversing signs of aging, and it's always had a lot of studies backing it up, and it's been around for quite some time. It is a tried and trusted ingredient for reducing signs of aging. Then we have the white serum, which is actually collagen peptide complex. So collagen, it makes up the skin for its bounciness, so that's why they target the firmness by targeting the bounciness of your skin. So it really does plump everything up, and it gives that nice bouncy appearance. And then we have the red serum, which is the radiant serum, and it has low molecular weight red flavonoid and ferulic acid. So that is what helps to brighten and even out skin tone. And when you do apply this onto your skin, it really does brighten it up, and I love the instant results of it. So that is the part where it just instantly makes your skin so glowy. It's really nice when you wake up the next morning after I use this. So good. And this red flavonoid was actually patented by Pacific, which is the umbrella company for Laneige, but also Innisfree, Etude House, and many more as well. So the product design of it, they made this twist up packaging because they want you to see everything in there, and they say that it blocks out a lot of the sunlight, but there is actually no need for them to show it in the first place to block out the sunlight. But I guess they wanted to really show what's inside each of the 3 serums. But in essence, they could have had it just completely sealed off so it never gets any sunlight. That would have been the most ideal. But I think for the sake of the packaging, it is pretty cool. So with this line, they come out with the full set from the skin toner, which they call the skin refiner. Then they have this serum, and then after that they have the emulsion, which is also in this really cute design, and then they have the face cream involved. It looks like this. This one is just a nice open face cream, and then it's got a purple top with a spatula. And I'm going to try on all of them here for you today, just to show the textures, just to see how it fits in. But you'll probably be able to see how my skin has improved, because I do notice that after using these products for the first week, I noticed that my skin was a lot brighter than normal, and it's a lot more even in skin tone. And also I used to have a lot of breakouts around here, and especially around the forehead here, but I think that was because my skin was horrifically dry, especially when I went to Norway, and then I got sick after that. So a combination of that just really congested my skin so much. But after a while, it kind of lingered on a little bit longer. I did use the previous Perfect Renew line, and I love it so much. So this did help regain my loss of moisture, and it really does help to plump and hydrate the skin so much more than the blue hyaluronic acid line, even if I got the moisture version. And it just gives that nice extra, slightly more oilier residue to it, because I do think with the blue hyaluronic acid line, it is very good in hotter climates and also more humid climates, but here in the UK it gets so cold and dry. I think this would be a better fit for me. But now that I've tried the new line, I would say the toner and the emulsion are similar to the previous one. The biggest difference difference is the serum and also the face cream too. So the serum, it gives so much more benefits in terms of anti-aging because of the retinol, because of the brightening effects. I think the previous serum, which is this one, which is the Youth Regenerator, this one is very, very good at hydrating the skin. It's very moisturizing too. So it's very good at just nourishing and treating the skin, especially if you have a lot of dry patches and especially when you have a lot of fine lines, because it just really hydrates and also soothes the skin so well. But with the new serum, because it has retinol, it has the brightening effects and it has the evening out collagen aspect of it. It has the benefits of the previous serum, but just elevated so much more. So that's why I'm in love with this serum. And the cream, if you have a look at the cream right here, just as a quick first glance, it's very thick and it's much thicker than the previous one. This one is very, very buttery, and I love this one because when you feel it in just between your fingers, it just feels so buttery. It feels so smooth and it just glides onto your face and it just melts into your skin. I do think that the previous cream was very moisturizing. It was very soothing as well, but this nowhere near as thick and buttery as this one right here. So I'm going to demonstrate the products to you today, and I'm going to show you my bare skin so that you can see the results after 3 weeks of use so far. First thing that I do is actually just remove my makeup, and I'm using this Nivea one, something simple. It's just a bifacil eye makeup remover, and I just take up my eye and lip makeup just to get rid of the stubborn waterproof part of it. So I just shake this up and apply this onto my cotton pad. And I always use bifacil makeup remover because, especially with eye makeup, I don't really like to use oils or those cleansing balms around the eye area because it tends to leave my eye having this oily film to it. So then, just to deeply cleanse and remove all of my makeup, all of my sunscreen, I use the Clean It Zero. This one is the green version and it's the pore clarifying one. This is my first time trying this one, and so far I've been really loving it. I did have the pink one before, and it's like my tried and true trusted one. Love it so much. And this one smells a bit more citrusy, but in terms of it pore clarifying, I haven't seen much of a difference. So I take about this much, and that's already enough to remove all of my face makeup. So this is an oil cleanser that will just dissolve everything. And once you come into contact with water, it just emulsifies and then it just removes everything. So just to show you the cleanser that I use, this one is the Chanel Le Mousse. I've already squeezed quite a lot out of it, but this is a really big bottle and it really does last a long time. So that's why I really love it. It's 150 ml, really worth it. And then before I get into the Perfect Renew stuff, I was advised to use this because I have a lot of acne scarring before. I had a lot of scars at the top here, especially because I had a few breakouts after Norway. And this is the Radiant C, and it's a kind of like essence, and I'm supposed to use this before my toner, and it's got 94% SBC, I think that's super berry complex, niacinamide, which is a really good ingredient for reducing scars but also controlling sebum levels, and then vitamin C is the key ingredient in here, which is part of this orange line where they have so much vitamin C ingredients in here. This also has all of the different dates on there because it shows you how much you would use in one of the days, and I've already gotten through half this bottle, which is so quick, and my goodness, this is actually one of my favorite products. So it's just basically a cap with a pump, and it also comes with its own cotton pads. And if you open it, and inside we have it all in there, so they are really soft. You get one that's more of this kind of rough texture, and then on the other side it has a rib texture, but it's more of that cottony soft feel to it. So I take the cushion side and I apply 3 pumps, and I just swipe this all over my skin, because the good thing about using a cotton pad, even though people say that it does waste a lot of product, and I like to do this at night time because it just removes a lot of dead skin cells and it just feels really relaxing, and it's a really gentle exfoliating step, and I just love how this feels. I do use this product in the morning, but I save a lot of the product by only using 1 pump in the morning. I just take it into my hands and then I just pat it into my skin, just like I do with other essences. But nighttime I like to have a nice treat. You can see that it's removed quite a bit there, of dead skin. So now onto the skin refiner, and this one is such a cool packaging. This skin refiner also has the bioflavonoid, peptide and retinol. So it has all three of the ingredients in the main triple serum it has, but in the toner form and also in the emulsion and the cream as well. But this packaging is super cool because in some ways I do think it's a little bit of a downgrade because it is plastic, but this twist mechanism is actually pretty funky. And the previous one is actually glass packaging, which I am on my way to finishing, and I still bought quite a few left. I love the glass packaging because there's just something about it that looks very, very futuristic, and I love it. But for the sake of this packaging, it is very cute and it does match their new aesthetic where they have this more bubbly kind of approach, especially with their blue hyaluronic acid line. I usually take 2 pumps of this, and it's a very thick runny texture. It is quite thick for a toner, so that's why they really emphasize that you don't need a cotton pad with this. And I just rub it between my hands, so it has this more gel-like wet texture here, and I just pat it in my skin. You see over here, it feels like a wet gel, and it sinks in really, really easily. It's actually very similar to the previous edition, but in terms of the effects of retinol and the red flavonoid and the glowiness, I probably won't see it as much in this product because it is just a skin toner, and most of the effects come from the serum instead. So now moving on to the serum, it's this gold packaging, so pretty, I love it. And at the top, you just twist it. It has that nice purple detailing at the top. It has the 3 little nozzles for each of the different serums. So you got the red, the gold, and the white with all the different functions. And I just take about 1 pump because it is quite a generous amount. And you can see all 3 of the colors come out, and it's just a big mixture. And the gold in here, there are actually these little gold flexes, kind of like little oil looking particles. It's very, very pretty. Once you melt it into your skin, it doesn't appear as gold flexes, and still it functions really well. So I just apply it onto my skin again. So again, this is actually more of that oilier texture, but as you can see, my skin is a lot more dewy and a bit more of that glass skin kind of feel. So very, very hydrated, very moisturized. And with retinol, you have to be a little bit careful if you're new to the ingredient, because if you're not used to it, it can sting and burn. I'm not sure how strong this retinol is when it comes to stinging and burning many other people, because I have already grown quite a big tolerance to retinol. So this doesn't burn me at all. But I do only use this serum at night time, and then I either use the blue hyaluronic acid serum, or if you still have the old version of this serum, this I use during the daytime instead. But for retinol, it's actually pretty advised that you don't use it during the daytime, which is why if you use it, make sure you wear sunscreen. Another good thing about sunscreen is that it really makes sure that all of the ingredients that you've used on your skin has its long-lasting benefits, and it just protects your skin from sun damage overall. So then moving on to the next one, and this one is the Emulsion. This one has very similar packaging to the skin refiner, but the big difference is that it's smaller. So this skin refiner is 150 ml, and then this Emulsion is 130. So it is a little bit shorter, but still very, very cute. And it also has the twist mechanism. And when I pump this into my hand, I like to take 2 pumps. And it's this very creamy texture. The reason why I take 2 pumps is that I actually like to place this on the back of my hands, because recently I've been feeling very, very dry, and I just needed that extra boost of moisture, and it just really moisturizes so easily. So in terms of the texture, it's very creamy and it just sinks in super easily. So I take the remaining. I think I've used a bit too much, so I'll take 1 more pump. So just take it onto my hands. So it's kind of like this very oily gel texture. So actually when you melt this onto your hands, it really does feel more watery than it is creamy. And it's just a really nice, lightweight moisturizer. But what emulsions really do is that they balance the skin's oil to water ratio. So it just treats the surface layer of the skin so that whatever you show to the world, this is already being treated. Whereas the serum penetrates deeper down into the skin to treat the lower layers, because the molecules in that one is a lot smaller. Whereas sometimes you just need to treat the top layer for a bit more love. So then we move on to the face cream, and it's this big tub here, gold outside, and it has this more perspex looking purple on the top with Laneige on there. And if we open it up, it has the cream inside. I have dug into it quite a bit, but if you can see, I haven't actually used a lot because this is very, very rich. And if I take the spatula, like that is all I need to cover my face and neck. And it's very, very thick in texture. So if I put it onto my palm, you can see that it's just pretty much like butter. It literally just melts like butter. It's very thick. It's probably as thick as creme de la mer, but the only difference with this one is that it's not that dry cream that just sits on top of your skin. There is that buttery, softer feel to it. So when I do apply this onto the skin, it just feels very smooth, and there's like an oilier residue at the top, but it's more of that buttery, oily residue. So I like to warm this up between my hands and then melt it into my face, especially on the cheeks where I get the most dry. And then I work onto my forehead and then spread it out to the rest of my face. And then I like to do a little bit of facial massage just to relieve any tension that's built up during the day, especially because I tend to clench my jaw quite a lot. I like to just loosen that up a little bit. So that is everything in the Perfect Renew X3 line. And what I do sometimes add at the end of my skincare routine is the sleeping mask by Laneige. And this one is limited edition, so you can't get this. But I just love how pink this is because it's their cherry blossom line, and it's just a different version of their most bestseller, their water sleeping mask. And that comes in their blue version. And I think they also have a really good one, which is a Seeker version. Good for soothing, it's very calming on the skin. And I apply this after my moisturizer. This shouldn't be used as a moisturizer at its own because it doesn't really work that well on its own. And then it just seals everything away, but also it just sinks in, soothing ingredients. And the next morning when you wake up, your skin is just glowing so much more. This is more of that gel texture. So it's very, very watery and gel-like. And I love how this feels because it's very weightless and you apply like a film like that. So you do still have something there. I mean, I'm always nervous that I will just wipe it all on my pillow, but this does actually stay on in the morning as well. I apply dab here, dab here, dab here, and then I just massage it in. Especially on the cheek area where my cheeks get really dry. And the cherry blossom scent in this one is just so good. And that is everything in my skincare routine with the Perfect Renew new version of it, the X3. And if you look at my skin, you can see that I still have a few scars on both cheeks, just because it's a lot more like just remnants. But what I have noticed is that on my under eyes, I used to have a little bit of fine lines right here, but I do think that they have reduced quite a little bit. And I think that's because of the retinol. And I've been applying a gentler dose using the skin refiner and the emulsion, and also the cream as well, around this area, because usually with the serums I kind of miss it. Maybe if I look back on the video I might actually dabble on it, but also around here I also noticed some softening of the lines, but my main concern was actually around here. And I did notice that some of these lines did start to even out actually. There was a little bit of reversing of these little lines here. But what it should do is that there should be some cross-hatching shapes on there. And what Laneige shows are these youth triangles, what they call it. And there should be cross-hatchings across your whole skin. And the deeper that you have these fine lines, then there are actually less cross-hatching triangles in your skin, because the youthful triangles should be in very, very small shapes. And there shouldn't be very large shapes, which is kind of like a big indentation. And that's what shows up as fine lines. So these have actually managed to reverse that. I think the previous line managed to reverse it, but it was very temperamental. It wasn't able to reverse the effect. But I do love that they've really updated the ingredients in here. This serum, I think this is one of my favorites, but also the cream as well. I think the skin refiner and the emulsion, in terms of the update from the previous edition, there was not really too much of a change in terms of how it feels, the texture. I think the Perfect Renew line is so much more moisturizing than the blue hyaluronic acid line. And to be honest, with the skin refiner with the blue hyaluronic acid line, it didn't do too much in terms of providing that moisture that I needed. And that is why I much prefer the Perfect Renew line. So I hope that this can come across to Europe and US soon, because it's mostly only Asia exclusive. I've only seen it in Hong Kong, Japan and Korea, maybe Malaysia and Philippines as well. I've seen it around there, but in terms of Europe, non-existent. So I do hope that they bring it across. And they also have an additional product, which is the Youth Retinol, and it looks like this. This one's more of a cream texture. This one came with the previous line, and I know that they came up with this one in the US line as well. So this is also a very good product to use, especially in the US. If you can get the hold of this one, get it. But this one applies at the end of your face cream. So I hope you enjoyed today's review, and what do you think about the new Perfect Renew line, and have you tried it? So if you want to see more videos about beauty, then click over here and I will see you there. Bye!